I'm going super easy and very budget friendly today. I'm making tomato macaroni bake from this vintage Campbell's soup from this vintage Campbell's soup ad that I found on Pinterest. Whenever I cook a recipe from a vintage ad, it almost always comes from Pinterest, but I do try to directly link the recipe in the description down below if I can. Okay, let's go. Start off by adding a couple of tablespoons of butter to a pan, melting that. If you've ever wanted a closer look at my pots and pans, here you go. This enamel set is one that my parents found for me many years ago for $15. Yes, I'm very lucky, and my mom and dad have amazing flea market and thrift store luck. And I do typically only save these for my videos. I don't really cook with them every single day. To that, I am adding 1/4 cup of grated onion. You can use chopped onion, but I usually go with grated onion because I don't like big chunks of onion in foods. That is a trick that I kind of learned over the years of cooking. I like the flavor of onions. It's something about like those big crunchy pieces that doesn't really like sit well with me. You do want to keep a really close watch on these though. They can burn pretty quickly compared to diced up onion. Once that has cooked for a bit, add 1 can of tomato soup. My store was out of Campbell's tomato soup, so we're going store brand, we're going extra budget friendly today. And 1/2 cup of water. Give that a bit of a stir. And 3/4 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I am using medium cheddar cheese because that's what I had on hand. I'm supposed to stir this until the cheese melts. This is making me think of the Rink Tum Diddy Rabbit that I made in like my second video. So if you haven't watched that, I'll go ahead and link it, but I would like to think that my video skills have improved a little bit since then. Is this cheese going to fully melt? I don't know. Might end up being a little bit on the grainy side. So I think this is about as good as it's gonna get as far as melting goes. Next, I'm adding 2 cups of cooked elbow macaroni. This is kind of stuck together because it's been sitting a minute. I did cook this for the shortest amount of time recommended on the box because I knew that it was gonna be mixed with a sauce and baked. I don't want any soggy macaroni. Oh, wow, okay. It's probably a good thing I did that because like, look at how soupy this is. I mean, it is tomato soup. So that is the nature of tomato soup. I really do hope that some of this liquid absorbs into the pasta. We'll let that sit for a moment. I'm gonna make some buttered breadcrumbs. So I've melted just a little bit of butter into a dish. I'm gonna add some breadcrumbs, couple tablespoons it says. Just stir that so that the butter coats those breadcrumbs. This is going to make for a really delicious topping for the casserole. It's gonna get buttery and crispy and it's gonna be awesome. I think. I have my buttered 1.5 quart casserole dish. This pattern is Horizon Blue. So now this goes in here. Actually, wow. This coordinates with my casserole dish very nicely. My saucepan, my saute pan. Look at that. I just don't know. But I guess half the fun is the fact that I make vintage recipes and I don't know how they're going to turn out, I hope. I hope you like that. So now I'm sprinkling this with 1/2 cup of that shredded medium cheddar cheese. Trying to get it even here. And now those buttered breadcrumbs that I just made, it makes like 2 tablespoons. Sprinkle those evenly over the top so we get a lovely crust. If nothing else, this casserole is going to have a beautiful, buttery, crispy topping. That is what we've got. It's very liquidy and it's moving around a lot, so I'm not gonna tip it too much, but this goes into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. Okay, that is what we're looking like. It's not liquid at all anymore. I did bake it for a few extra minutes because it was pretty liquidy, like even when it was close to the original bake time. So I probably added about 5 minutes or so. The macaroni is soft. Yeah, it is. It's pretty soft looking. I might even cook it a little bit less next time I make this, if there is a next time I make this, because it does absorb a lot of that liquid. It smells toasty and tomatoey. It's got a crust like I thought it would. You can kind of hear it. Get a little bite here. It's pretty good. It's not quite like a baked ziti or something. It's really good with that cheesy topping, actually. It's tasty. I like it. I think you could spice it up. I say that for like every video. I think you could add a little garlic to it if you want. The way it is now, this kind of makes me think like kid food, which not a bad thing. It's just, you know, there's not a lot of like zest or spice to it. It's pretty basic. Doesn't mean it tastes bad, but I think you could probably add a little bit to this. I love that cheesy crust on top. That is a great trick with any casserole. Sprinkle it with some buttery breadcrumbs before you bake it because it makes like a nice, crunchy, delicious topping. But overall, I would say this is pretty dang tasty. If you love recipes from vintage ads like I do, I have an entire playlist and I will link it in the description down below. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love making videos about food, vintage cookbooks, and retro recipes. So if you know anyone else who loves those things, please share this with them. It really does help my channel grow by reaching a larger audience. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.